Disclaimer. This is my opinion based off the scenario I have chosen, and due to the nature of life, will almost assuredly not be what happens in real life. Due to time constraints, every state will be called at closing time. In real life, I expect something much different to happen in the election year chosen, even if the two candidates I have selected are the ones chosen in real life. Good evening, America, and welcome to Election Night 2020 between Nikki Haley and Rand Paul versus Conor Lamb and Tina Smith. Since 2018, in the 2018 midterms, the Democrats took the House while the GOP maintained control of the Senate. In 2020, Trump was re-elected, winning the popular vote and capturing Virginia and Nevada on top of the 2016 map. He lost Minnesota by 4,000 votes. The GOP retook the House and expanded the Senate majority. In the 2022 midterms, the GOP maintained a one-seat majority in the House due to strong but slowing economic growth, and maintained the Senate majority. In the 2024 primaries, the contest on the GOP was primarily between Mike Pence and Nikki Haley and Joe Manchin, who had switched parties in 2020 because the Democrats pushing him to adopt a progressive platform that he refused to adopt. Haley won in a sweeping victory. The Democrats had a surprise victory in the primary by Conor Lamb from Pennsylvania. The congressman who first won his House seat in a special election in 2018 has defended the territory by adopting more moderate positions on most issues, and some positions espoused by President Trump. After all, his congressional seat is one of the most conservative in the state of Pennsylvania, typically going for a Republican by about 20 points. He voted against the Democrat proposal to draw articles of impeachment against Trump in 2019, becoming one of 15 Democrats to oppose the measure, preventing the articles from being issued. The state of the race. This has been called by the media as a pure toss-up, where both candidates have a 50-50 shot of winning the election. And it's time for the 7 p.m. poll closings, with 6 states, 2 of which can be considered battleground states. In Indiana, Nikki Haley is the projected winner. Vote totals will be shown on screen with every call. Kentucky, Nikki Haley will also pick up this state. And in South Carolina, she is also projected to win. This is her home state, and this wasn't that much of a surprise. In the state of Vermont, Conor Lamb's first victory of the evening. He is expected to win this state comfortably. In the state of Georgia, Nikki Haley wins the state, though it is getting much closer than it was previously, and the GOP isn't counting on this state every single year. In the state of Virginia, Conor Lamb is the projected winner. This is a flip from 2020, and this is a state the GOP will probably won't carry again. In the popular vote, Haley does hold an edge. This is expected to narrow as the night progresses. She also holds a 44-16 edge in the Electoral College. And this is what it looks like in map form. And in the state, the 7:30 p.m. poll closings, we've got 3 states, 2 of which can be considered battlegrounds. In the state of West Virginia, with only 4 electoral votes, losing some from during the 2020 census, Nikki Haley is the projected winner of this state fairly handedly. In the state of North Carolina, Nikki Haley is expected to win at 16 electoral votes, gaining an electoral vote from 2020. And this state is extremely close and expect recount efforts. In the state of Ohio, Nikki Haley is the projected winner. This is closer than 2020 and 2016, though it does show that the Democrats really cannot count on this state anymore, and likely can't count on the Midwest if reports from 2020 are true, and also the analysis is true. And of course, Haley still leads in both vote totals. And it's time for the 8 p.m. poll closing. A lot of states here, and 4 of those are battleground states. State of Alabama with only 8 electoral votes, losing some from 2020. Nikki Haley will win the state. Conor will win the state of Connecticut and Delaware. And Conor will flip the state of Florida to the Democrat column. It's a narrow win, but it is a win nonetheless, and this really shoots a hole in the GOP path to election. And Nikki Haley is probably sweating. In the state of Illinois, Conor is expected to carry this state as well. However, Nikki Haley will flip the state of Maine. It's 3 at-large votes. It's 2 at-large votes, winning one of its congressional districts and winning the state outright by a very slim margin. Conor will keep 1 vote in the 1st congressional district in this state. In the state of Maryland, Conor is expected to win. Same thing with Massachusetts, where he crosses 2 million votes for the base state. In the state of Mississippi, Nikki Haley will win this state. Same thing with the state of Missouri. Nikki Haley will win this by a fairly wide margin. In the state of New Hampshire, Conor is expected to win this state. It's a very close state this year, as it always is. In the state of New Jersey, he will also carry this state, whereas Nikki Haley will carry the state of Oklahoma by over 1 million votes. However, Conor will carry his home state. It is very close, however, indicating that the upper Midwest, maybe this is gone because Donald Trump won this by almost 10 points in 2020, and typically a candidate will get about a 7-point bump in their home state, but as years have gone by, it's been less of a regional bump and just more of a home state bump. And Conor has, of course, flipped this state from 2020. And only has 19 electoral votes, showing the shrinking power of the upper Midwest and the Rust Belt. The state of Rhode Island, Conor will carry this state. However, Nikki Haley will carry the state of Tennessee with its 11 electoral votes. Conor will easily carry the District of Columbia. And, of course, Nikki Haley still leads the electoral vote. That Conor actually leads that, but Nikki Haley leads the popular vote by a slight margin. And this is what the map looks like. This is what it looks like in map form. And we have 1 poll closing here at 8:30. That's Arkansas, which will go to Nikki Haley. And Nikki Haley leads the popular vote, but Lamb leads the Electoral College. And this is what it looks like. And that's a typo. It should be 132, not 142. Now it's time for the 9 p.m. poll closings with a lot of states. Arizona, a state that gained a vote in the census, will go to Nikki Haley. Whereas Colorado, which also gained an electoral vote, that's a typo on the graphic. It has 10 electoral votes, not 9. Conor is the projected winner of its 10 electoral votes. Kansas will go to Nikki Haley, as does Louisiana and Michigan, which this is a very close state with, it appears there is some benefit to Conor being from the Rust Belt, but it appears it wasn't enough to flip the state back into Democrat hands. Expect there to be many, many, many recounts. And in the state of Minnesota, for the first time since Richard Nixon won the state in 1972, it will go to the Republican, as Nikki Haley has won in the state of Minnesota with its 9 electoral votes. Tina Smith wasn't enough to flip the state, it seems, with Tina Smith being on the ticket, a popular senator, somehow not being enough. And in the state of Nebraska, Nikki Haley will win all 5 of its electoral votes. In the state of New Mexico, Conor Lamb will win its 5 electoral votes. However, he also wins in the state of New York, whereas North Dakota and South Dakota both go to Nikki Haley. And this is a shot towards any Democrats. A lot of Democrats weren't counting on Florida or even Pennsylvania and thought that Texas was their hope in this election. Most Democrats were hoping that Texas and Arizona would flip this election for them, and that does not seem to be the case this year. Arizona was definitely closer. In Texas, this is the closest it has ever been, at least since the 90s. So there is hope for the Democrats in the future, but not this year in 2024. And of course, Texas was the big gainer in the 2020 census. Nikki Haley will carry this state, and it appears she has also carried the state of Wisconsin. She also will carry the most conservative state in the Union in Wyoming. She leads the popular vote 51 to 46, and she leads the Electoral College 247 to 184. And I'm getting word that Conor Lamb has conceded on the phone. However, he will not appear until the election is settled, as they are getting, as they think the rest of the states might be close, and there is a chance that they can win the election. However, they feel comfortable enough to concede to Nikki Haley, seeing as they don't see a path to outright win the Electoral College without a recount. And that was the map. It's 10 p.m. and in the state of Iowa, Nikki Haley wins. It's closer than it was in 2020 and 2016, though it's still a wide margin. In the state of Montana, Nikki Haley will carry the state. Same with Utah. And Conor Lamb will carry the state of Nevada. This is a flip from 2020. And in the popular vote, Nikki Haley still leads, and she leads the Electoral College 262 to 190. And this is what the map looks like. In the 11 p.m. poll closings, there are no battleground states. Conor Lamb will win the state of California, Oregon, and Washington. If we go back to California, he has crossed the 10 million vote mark in this state, the first Democrat, the first candidate to do so, with 12 million votes. And in the state of Idaho, Nikki Haley will carry this state in its 4 electoral votes. And of course, Hawaii goes to Conor Lamb. And this is what the popular vote looks like. Conor Lamb holds a lead of about 49 to 48, and he leads the Electoral College 269 to 266. Nikki Haley has sent in a phone call. We're getting word that she has called the Lamb campaign and told them that this is going to be, this election is too close to accept the concession. Both campaigns, we are being told, have made announcements that they do not expect the election to be called tonight, and that they are asking their supporters to head home and get some rest. And this is what the map looks like currently, with only one state outstanding. And that is the state of Alaska. It is 1 a.m. here on the East Coast. And this, the final frontier, the last frontier, will go to Nikki Haley, bringing the Electoral College into a 269-269 deadlock. And if we go back, we can look at the popular vote real quick. Conor Lamb has won the popular vote 74.6 million to 74.2 million, with 3.2 million going to third parties. Most of those going to the Austin Peterson campaign of the Libertarians, winning about 2.8 million of those. And this is what the map looks like. And we are expecting recount efforts to continue ongoing for a while. And there is no candidate with a majority. All the recounts have been stopped and all vote totals have been certified. The Electoral College remains tied at 269 to 269. The House of Representatives will choose the president, while the Senate chooses the vice president. However, both sitting chambers, not the ones elected in early November, will choose the president. That means even though the Democrats won the House back, they were unable to win the Senate back. The GOP controlled, both GOP, the House will still be GOP controlled. In the Senate, each individual gets a vote, and in the House, every state gets one vote. Only the top 3 electoral vote getters are eligible to receive votes in the House of Representatives. And the House makeup, the GOP controls 31 states, including Conor Lamb's home state of Pennsylvania, whereas the Democrats control 18 states, and there's one state that does not, where neither party has a majority, and that is the state of Maine. And here are the results of the tiebreak. Nikki Haley has been elected president with 31 votes to 19 for Conor Lamb. Only Pennsylvania voted against their party, voting for Conor Lamb, and Maine voted for Nikki Haley. One state voted for a candidate other than who won the state in the election, and that was Florida. In the Senate, Rand Paul was elected vice president, and he also abstained from voting. He won the vote there, 52 to 47. And thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Understand that this is very, very, very speculative, and I wanted to come up with something a little bit fun, so I figured, what would create a scenario for an electoral college tie? And this was the best I could come up with. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a nice day. See you guys next time. Bye.